Hi!
Hey.
So I recently went back home to Bulgaria with my wonderful daughter. On the way there, I traveled with Philip, and on the way back, I traveled just on my own and Eddie. And we went via plane. And I have some interesting experience and useful tips to share.
So you're an expert now?
Somewhat of an expert. Okay, so one of the biggest things that is recommended in forums when you travel with a baby is when you fly with a baby specifically is that you need to feed them at takeoff and landing, because if you don't, you will actually, I think, cause them pain.
Pain how?
Because of the eardrums, the pressure. If they don't pop, they can go on for hours until they swallow or open their mouth. Then the longer it takes, I think the more painful it would be.
Right, because with me anyway, when I'm flying, I instinctively swallow to allow the pressure to adjust itself.
Because
Yeah, babies, it's different, isn't it?
Yeah, and they sleep, I mean, if you're fortunate, they'll sleep most of the time, so even less of a reason to wake up and swallow. But what we did was, on the way there, I managed to feed her at takeoff, but I didn't feed her at landing. And later on, when we arrived at the flat where we were staying, I think after an hour and a half after the plane landed, all of a sudden she started crying, but the pain cry, and that went on for at least an hour, and there was nothing we could do. She was just in pain. So on the way back, I was like, I'm gonna force you if I need to, but you were eating at takeoff and landing, and there was no issue at all.
Right. Next point.
If you're not breastfeeding and you need to bring a bottle, keep in mind that security is going to check any baby-related liquids that you bring on. So they have to test it, so they'll open your bottle and probably take a sample. So just keep that in mind.
Okay.
A big one for me is, I don't know why, priority boarding with children is supposed to be boarding the parents and children first, but I would absolutely swear on doing it last.
Tired.
So the baby is getting a lot of... She just woke up anyway.
She's tired already. Wow. She's so bored of this.
The airport is full of lights and, pictures and stuff around, loads of stimuli for the baby. So if you stay at the airport, you have to be there anyway, like an hour and a half, 2 hours earlier. And the baby's gonna get tired there, and you ideally want them to sleep on the plane. So instead of boarding first and spending like an extra half an hour on the plane, on a flight that's already 3.5 hours, I think is pointless.
That is true. So maybe the boarding first, maybe for toddlers who are at an age where they can understand what's going on. That's true, but when they're a baby, you don't want to be going on first, because you're going to be sat there for ages while everybody else is coming on, and the child's going to get bored, they're going to start to wriggle around.
Well, even with the toddler though, because I've seen in some airports, they have like these little toddler play areas. So I would say tire the child as much as possible before the flight, so they can sleep during the flight.
Right.
So board last, that's what I did both times, and it served me well.
Okay, what's your next point?
Next point is about seating. So we traveled with a low-cost airline, and it cost me £50 extra for her to sit on my lap, both directions, £50, so in total. But very often you're gonna find out that your ticket as a grown-up can be less than £50. So my ticket was, I think, originally £45.
Wait 1 second, so it cost you more money to get a seat for Ellie?
Well, yeah, in the end.
Right.
So I made a mistake, because that infant seat, what I paid for her to be on my lap, included the allowance for me to transport one baby small bag, a baby car seat, and a pram if I want to.
Okay.
I didn't use all of them, but I used 2 of them, so that £50 includes this. However, if you get a seat next to you, because it's for a baby, you will have to anyway have a baby car seat for the baby to sit into. So you maybe are better off, but you wouldn't be able to get the pram, but then you're gonna get an extra bigger bag.
Okay.
So if you look at the pricing, if it makes sense, and also the bigger the baby is, like we went when she was 4 months old, and we came back when she was 5 months old, and her feet were like long and stretching to the person next to us, and thank God the person next to us was nice, but she kept kicking them because that's what she does. She's a baby, and no matter how many times I hold her feet, it's a very confined space, and no matter how many times I apologize, she just wanted something to gently kick something. So yeah, maybe it's better to have their own seats.
So when you were flying back, did Ellie cry at all?
She didn't cry. So in a plane, there was a lot of babies on the way back. But what I would advise is, yes, the best thing is for the baby to be sleeping.
Right.
But you should have loads of things that you can potentially, show them. For example, we try to avoid screens, even though we're in front of a screen at the moment. We try to avoid screens, and I have never shown her like a full episode of anything. The most she's watched is like, I think 2 or 3 times a 5-minute thing. So I had on my phone, I downloaded an episode of Peppa Pig,
right,
just in case, and I never got to it because during the whole flight I was either breastfeeding her, I was singing her quietly songs, I had some stuff that she can play in her mouth, and I had a book and I was talking to her, so I was she slept only from a 3.5-hour flight on the way back, she slept only twice for like about half an hour. The rest of the time I had to entertain her, but have loads of things in place to make sure that they're going to be entertained.
So,
and also maybe earmuffs, because she was okay, but sometimes she would wake up because of the people talking loud or because of the announcements over the PA.
Okay.
So some parents say that earmuffs would work well for them, especially for long flights, I think.
How did you so you mentioned breastfeeding? What, did you just flop your boob out on the plane for everyone to check out? How did you get around doing that? Because I know that some people don't mind their boobs out for people to see.
Yeah.
But I don't think you like that, are you?
I wouldn't say it's a flop out. I'm not ashamed of breastfeeding. I think it's a wonderful thing to do, and it's a great connection between me and the baby. However, I am conscious of these things, so what I did was I bought this breastfeeding sheet that just goes around your neck and the baby goes underneath it, and it's very comfortable. I was with it for most of the flight, so people don't see me breastfeeding.
Are they expensive?
You have to do your research, but I think I paid something like no more than £10, between £8 and £10.
Okay.
And it's machine washable, so everything is easy and nice.
Wow, what is wrong? Okay, there are some more questions that I want to ask you, but I don't think it's going to last for this video because she's really getting a bit impatient. Thank you for that. You've given a lot of golden nuggets there on travelling with a child.
You're welcome.
And,
I want to say that I wouldn't do it again soon though.
You would do it
was
again?
successful, but I wouldn't do it again soon, so just keep in mind that it's a challenge.
Was it very stressful for you?
I wouldn't say stressful, it's just challenging.
Okay.
It's just challenging.
If you have any more questions, please throw them, and if there's enough interest, we'll do another video answering all the questions for travelling with a child. I went one way, and I flew back on my own because Zhen stayed over in Bulgaria for a whole month. But over there were loads of challenges, weren't there, while you were actually in Bulgaria? I guess with routine and trying to keep us asleep.
With routine, going to a new place and trying to change a baby's environment is very, very hard.
But if you've got any more questions for Jen, let us know, we can answer them.
And if I've missed anything, like right now I'm actually thinking about changing the baby just before the flight.
Okay.
Is another good tip. But if we've missed anything, you help other people if you comment and give your advice below.
But for now, we're definitely going.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.